Going into the courtyard. Oh, there's a noisy air conditioner, isn't there? Yeah, so there's a courtyard with shops and cafe, everything, which I think is not open yet. Oh, yes it is. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a walk from the car park to the castle, which is over there. I seem to remember there were some cottages here you can stay in. He always avoids the puddles, don't you? Good girl. We've got Tara behind us somewhere. So this is the Lion Trail. There's a second-hand bookshop there. Go on, keep up, Tara. And those are the cottages you can stay in, aren't they?
Yes, yeah.
No.
So we're at the ruined arch.
This is the ruined arch.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good to me for a ruined arch. What do you reckon, Pops? The fireplace there. Alright, if you were the gatekeeper, you'd get your own fireplace.
Yeah. Quite sweet.
Yeah. Go on then, I'm not going through the puddle. Oh, what? Without a fire? Oh, blimey, that was the junior gatekeepers. Fair way down there. Over there. Oh, I do remember this now. I mean, the castle itself is a stately home, isn't it, really? Isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
We've got the like ornate gardens with it, so it's not really a medieval broken down castle like we're used to. It goes all the way down.
Actually, the ruined arch and the viaduct were actually built as ruins.
Oh, they were built as a romantic approach to the castle.
Yeah.
Okay. Like stables or garages there. An impressive arch, wasn't it? Quite an impressive building, isn't it? Oh, that's right, okay. That's a bit muddy as well. But there's a little separate, stay there Pops, don't drink there. There's a separate walkway that's lower down that servants use so they wouldn't be seen by guests and the household. But yeah, that's quite a view, isn't it? Yeah. Right, so it's a clock tower court. There's a state for the stables, basically, isn't it? Like an art gallery here. Right. There's the stables. Boat, carriage, bath chair. Fancy ride in there?
That's like a boat. And
Yeah.
about the carriage.
Yeah, what does it say about boat carriage? Late Victorian carriage used by the Kennedy family and guests when they were on fishing trips around the country. Passengers would ride on the seats above the boat. When they reached the destination, would disembark and the boat would be pulled out and placed in the water.
Oh, clever.
Yeah. So it's like a bus type boat thing.
Boat thing.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the front of the house. Rather imposing looking cannon. And perhaps what we can do a little bit later, I don't know, is see if we can have a trip round the castle. Maybe tomorrow. And leave the dogs with Bob.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to design a mock medieval castle.
Yeah. Get some ruined arches.
Get some ruined arches built. But yeah, very impressive. There is a little bus that runs up and down, so
Yeah.
if you're limited mobility, then you can always use a little bus. And they've got a cover on it as well.
Right.
Come on. We're just going to walk back down this path, I think. Oh, that's right. There's remember, it's a gas house down here. One of the first places to use gas, weren't they, for the heating? You're going to be alright down there, Pops? Go on. Go on. That's the beach. Yes, so this is the gas house. It produced its own gas for heating and lighting, the coal being shipped in directly to Culzean by sea, and the third Marquess refused to install electricity as they considered it dangerous and a fire risk. Oh, there's a little display in here. So this was built in the 1840s and the gas making equipment installed later. It's used for lighting and the home farm. All essential places were lit with gas, including corridors, servants' quarters, and some of the original pipes still exist. No details of the plant remain, but it's assumed there were 3 or 4 retorts here, similar to works at Inverary Castle, which are well documented. So they had a gas manager.
Is that him there?
That must be the gas manager. He was an important member of the staff. The 1981 census showed that Matthew Walker lived in the cottage together with his wife Anne and 2 daughters, Euphemia and Jane. At the time, Matthew Walker was 76 and had been gas manager for 40 years. Town gas in Scotland, all about Edinburgh. Princes Street was lit by gas in 1822, a year before New York. They switched over to acetylene gas at the turn of the last century. All right. They made gas from coke, obviously, didn't they, rather than natural gas.
Saying they have to clean out these every 8 hours.
Yeah.
New supply of coal brought in. Wheelbarrow shovelfuls were thrown in here.
Yeah. Well, that was a mucky job.
And he had to make sure they got enough.
And he was still doing it when he was 76.
Yeah.
Good heavens. And they brought the coal in on barges right up,
up by the beach.
up to the beach. But that's where he lived, up there.
In that cottage.
Yeah. Go over here. Yeah, so this would have been the gas holder. So you remember these probably from your childhood. And they were big sort of metal things with water in there, and kept the gas in there, the water below, and you could raise it up and increase the pressure. and as they used it, the gas holder dropped, so they knew that they needed to top it up, I guess. So yeah, that's where the gas holder was. Oh, that was a bit industrial, wasn't it?
Isn't it? So is that like those big gas things that St Albans are no longer use at Cotton Mill?
Yeah.
Gasworks.
Gasworks, yeah.
That's what that was.
Yeah, well, you would have seen them all over the country at one time.
Yeah, they were huge.
Yeah. Well, look like a smaller version of it. Poppy wants me to come over here and film the beach. So we walked up from the castle and just going back towards the car.
This is Home Farm, isn't it?
Home Farm,
This
yeah.
bit here.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a cafe here, isn't there?
Yeah.
Cows.
So that's the deer farm, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's Tara.
There's Tara Park, you know.
Yeah.
A bit bigger than you, Tara. Look at the little one over there.
Yeah.
Being fed, aren't they? That's why they're
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, there's a fair set of antlers on that. Oh, Poppy. Strange looking animals, aren't they?
Come in a little bit closer so I don't shout too much. And in 1831, the 12th Earl was upgraded in rank and he became the first Marquess of Ayrshire. So if you hear me talking about Kennedys, Castles or Ayrshire, it's all the same family. That does get confusing if we don't clarify that. The 12th Earl thought that the entrance hall was a bit plain. So he bought and displayed this armoury of weapons that are still here 200 years later. A collection including 716 flintlock pistols, every one of which was used on active service in the British Army or the East India Company, making this room the world's largest public collection of used British military flintlocks. The reason that wall is so thick is we've now passed into the space that was originally the lower hall of the 1590 Tower House. So the side walls of this room were originally external defensive walls. When Robert Adam was getting to work, however, defence was no longer an issue, so as we see he's carved into the thick walls to create apses at either side, believing that the more different shapes you had in your house, the more interesting it would be both to live in and, more importantly, to show off to visitors. Yeah, for me, the ceilings are just the best feature. Some people prefer the fireplaces, but for me, ceilings. And here's a fine example of late period Adam work, inspired by what he saw in Rome when he did his grand tour of Europe. But you'll notice in this room and several others in Culzean, we have paintings on the ceiling. And all the ceiling paintings here were made by a man called Antonio Zucchi. He was an Italian painter that Robert Adam met in Rome, and he was so impressed with the quality of Zucchi's work that he offered him a job there and then. We're now very obviously in a dining room, but I just spent the last 5 minutes explaining how next door was the dining room. In Adam's original plan, this space was 2 rooms. This end was a library, and far end was a gentleman's powder room. Ice was cut from rivers and lochs during the winter, along with whatever else was on the surface. They were wrapped in straw and kept in subterranean ice houses. So it wouldn't look very nice to serve to table. So the ice was put in the bottom part of the pail, and then you'll notice there's a very deep rim in the lid. So items that you wanted to keep chilled typically pastries or fruit would be put in the deep rim. The staircase is cantilever, just seems to float in mid-air without any pillars to hold it up. It's engineered so that the weight of the step below and the step above locks everything into place. We notice that the staircase only comes to this floor as well, because this was the public entertainment floor of the house. Now, as we look up, we appreciate there is a second floor to the house. We won't visit it today, but here's the reason why. When the house was given to NTS in 1945, it was a condition that General, later President Eisenhower, was given the lifetime use of an apartment as a token of thanks on behalf of the people of Scotland for his wartime leadership. And that floor was his apartment. He and his family made use of it before, during and after his presidency, and after his death the Trust decided to operate that floor as a hotel. So next time you're in the area, if you want to stay in a Scottish castle, you want to sleep in a presidential room, check us out online, because we sometimes do amazing bargains with Groupon and lastminute.com. Honest, we do. By looking out the windows in this room, you're doing exactly what Robert Adam designed the room for you to do. Because this was the main entertainment room of the house. This is for receptions, dances, parties, that sort of thing. And it was built in this position partly to capture the panoramic view. Looking out, we see parts of the North Ayrshire coast. We look over the islands of Bute, Cumbria, Arran, the Mull of Kintyre, and just hidden behind the clouds just now is the Antrim coast of Ireland.
Hello, enjoy.
I always do. The quick way to tell that we're in private apartments. Look at the ceiling. No fancy painted plaster work here, because no visitors would ever be in this space. This was Lady Ailsa's boudoir. Not even Lord Ailsa would be in here without prior arrangement. This was very much her personal, private space. Literally, boudoir is the room to which a lady goes to sulk.
I was going to tell you could hang it in your shed.
Yeah, that's nice, yeah. I think it would frighten away all the other birds that I encourage to come into my garden. This is the Daisy Bell, and she's a scale model, clicker built dinghy. The third Marquess's life revolved around the sea. He designed boats. He founded and managed the Ailsa Boatyard, which became one of Scotland's biggest construction yards at Troon. And his hobby, which he was very good at, was racing yachts. So when the workforce in the boatyard found out that he and his second wife were going to have a family, they built the Daisy Bell as a child's crown. But when the children were too big to sleep in it, because it was a properly constructed boat, they took it down to the Swan Pond and they sailed it. And on nice sunny days, they take it out into the Firth of Clyde and they go saltwater sailing as well. You make your way down the main staircase, but as you pass the portrait of Lady Margaret out in the gallery, keep your eye on her foot. Now I promise you, wherever you are, that foot will point directly at you. I promise you all, if you keep your eye on that foot as you walk past the painting, that foot will move.
Do they do that?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It actually does.
Does it on camera?
This foot here. Yeah. This is the foot.
Hoeveel rails dat voor Zoe? Zoe. They do all of it,
What do you think?
That's it for this video. Nicely finished off with the Piper. That was very good. Enjoyed that. So if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe, hit the notifications icon, and I'll catch up with you soon.